I'm BrianVee, and this is Why We Work. Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with KV Singh. KV is in the tourism and hospitality industry. He's been so for 3 decades. He owns and co-owns a resort and hotel. He does tours all throughout India and Bhutan. Today, I want to find out why he got into tourism and how much he enjoys serving others. Join me in my conversation with KV Singh. I'm BrianVee, and this is Why We Work. Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with KV Singh. Good evening, young man.
Thank you.
Thank you, KV, for coming on. You and I were just talking that we met through LinkedIn, and you were advertising a company that you work for in tourism. Can you give me a little rundown of who you are and what you do?
Okay. Brian, it all began in the year 1955
You're
when my
gonna start in 1955. How about we start in 2020 what you're doing, and then I'll bring you back to 1955. How about
okay,
that?
that's fine. That's fine. This year has been, quite bad from the business point of
From
view. But
coronavirus, yes.
if we go back to the year 2019, I
Yes.
have I have planned for my principals across the world, some of the best companies in the world. They are they are booking my tours. They are 60 plus across every region of India.
Yes.
We have such diversity, amazing diversity. We have the mountains, the Himalayan mountains. We have the lakes, we have the oceans, we have a wonderful wildlife. So the tours that I'm doing are from 3 days to 16 days.
Tours, yeah.
And yes, and the um, major emphasis so far has been on heritage and cultural um, experiences that combine not only the monuments but the people, the tribal life, the areas where they are the inhabitants and where they live a life. But mind you, my approach to tourism is that we do not spoil the destinations we go to. So I'm happy with solo travelers, with a partner, and in small groups,
Mm-hmm.
and try to give back to the locals
Mm-hmm.
what they deserve in terms of handicrafts that they make indigenous, the local guides,
Mm-hmm.
everything that they must, all the stakeholders are able to benefit from what we do. And we are very conscious that all the any products that the customers buy are not the products in which child labor has been used.
So
Besides that, there is a lot of trafficking and pedophile pedophilism.
okay.
That is something that we are very concerned. It is very much prevalent in countries like Thailand and Bangkok. Here, we take care that we don't, our customers are not those who have these kinds of, preferences.
Mm-hmm. So you're
We,
trying
we
to
have no
make
problem. We
you
have no problem at all in case, in fact, I encourage people with different sexual orientation.
uh-huh.
I get many people, even for getting married,
Yeah.
women, we organize for them actual wedding, or if they want to do it, have a mock wedding, then we organize in the palaces, castles, and havelis. I want to emphasize on the point that I belong to a former royal family. My great grandfather was the Raja of a place called Khandela, which is about 90 kilometers from Jaipur. Till 1954, before these princely states were abolished, we were uh, holding revenue and uh, other rights over 120 villages. And from there, our clan, the former royal families, we have 23 palaces, forts, castles, and havelis. Havelis are um, maisons of the merchants, in which a great uh, colored mirror and fresco work has been done. They are absolutely beautiful. And especially my customers from countries such as Spain, France, Italy really love to stay in these palaces because they have seen five-star hotels with glass and concrete everywhere in the world.
Yes.
But the kind of ambience or the kind of character these palaces and havelis have is something which they are very much thrilled about. And more than that, they are operated, they are owned and operated by the families themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So in the evening, there's somebody from the families for them to sit, chat, maybe over drink, and we organize a barbecue and all these things. So they really enjoy staying in this 21, I can count about 21 of such properties, some as old as 450 years. Now they are beautifully maintained. They have retained their traditional character and the old type, and there has been a great revival of the cuisine, the drinks that they were used to brew for their
Mm-hmm.
customers. I was in 18th century, 17th century. So we have continued to draw on those um, traditions of food and cuisine. And also, uh, we have been able to revive the forgotten folk culture and traditions. For example, puppetry was a great way of entertaining people that was almost losing its,
Well,
you
sorry,
know,
what was that?
character. And
What did you say? What was
puppetry,
carpentry?
puppetry,
Like
yes,
making rugs and
puppetry.
yes, yes.
So especially my state of Rajasthan,
Mm-hmm.
there are many families who are totally devoted to making beautiful puppets and working among them on the strings. They
Yes.
are greatly liked. Then we have been able to revive the folk music and folk dances which were lost,
Mm-hmm.
which were, and the families that have in this particular area of entertainment were losing ground to other popular music. But now there has been a great revival of folk music, especially the desert. Half of my state is a desert. We have
Mm-hmm.
desert songs and desert music
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and other classical music. Besides that, we have very many forms of classical dances, which have also been revived thanks to the tourism efforts that we have made in drawing people to appreciate this culture, appreciate another way of life, and
Mm-hmm.
not be judgmental about the other way of life. And they
Yeah.
are very happy. Uh, those who have come even in year 2011, mind you, it is almost 10 years, they have
Mm-hmm.
continued to keep contacts with me.
Yeah.
And now most of my business is through word of mouth. They
Mm-hmm.
said, go to KV, get in touch with him, let him make for you a customized itinerary. It's 10 days, 12 days, 15 days.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of services that we provide and give it a very personal touch without being intrusive.
Yeah.
Without being intrusive. Yeah,
Yeah.
we take great care of them once they land in any particular destination, which is Delhi, Bombay, or Calcutta, till they go back. We take great care of them. we ensure that they are constantly in touch with people back home. So what we do, we give them a mobile with a chip, so they can be constantly in touch with people of their own people, and are are sure that everything is hanky dory.
Mr. Singh, so what you're saying here is you have a beautiful culture, you have a beautiful landscape to show people, and this is what you're trying to do with your tours.
Yes.
Can you bring us back, though? As I said, I was going to bring you back. Mr. Singh, what would have been your very first job? What's the very first thing that you ever did? Maybe culturally it's a little bit different than what I'm used to at the age, but maybe as a teenager, maybe it wasn't until you were 20s. But what was the very first thing that you did to maybe volunteer or to earn some money?
I did a lot of voluntary work in the area of ecotourism. That was my first job on an eco farm,
Okay,
where we used to maintain horses, cows, and grow organic food
how
for the.
old were you then? How old were when you first got your first job?
I was 16 years. I was 16 years. I was 16 years old.
16 years old.
16.
Why did you get
Yes.
that? Why did you get that job? What made you do it?
I like I like to be on the farm. I like to till the earth.
Yeah.
I would like to smell the cow dung.
Yeah.
Horses.
Yeah.
I
The
would
farm life, yeah.
touch them. I, I would tend a cow or a buffalo. So we would. Many of the foreigners had not seen a buffalo in their life.
Yes. Was
We
this
would
was this
tell
a
them how useful it is. Economy of the average village person family,
yes.
the buffaloes, cows, the camels. We to take them around on a camel cart.
Yes.
I would make them sit behind. So this is how I began. It was a lovely experience.
At
And
16.
then it grew
Yeah.
into a full-fledged business.
So I also know that you went off to school and you were getting into banking and stuff like that. So were you thinking that you wanted a different career? Was there something that you were hoping to do as you got older? What was your thinking in that?
Yes, my in the year 1967, I was around that age of 16 to 17.
Yeah.
Then my father said that why don't you, you are good in mathematics, you are good in these sciences, why don't
Yes.
you appear for an examination? So I sat in an examination and got into the Reserve Bank of India, which is the central bank of the country,
Yes.
and chose an associate company of Reserve Bank, which is called National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. That
Yes.
organization is charged with creating assets in the area of the rural economy, especially eco eco houses, eco products, your value addition to milk, value addition, the processing of vegetables, 30% of which go waste. So this is it neatly went into my interest, and was also a profession to make money. Now,
Yeah.
at the age of 48, I decided that I would not do any service anymore
Yes.
and would take to tourism. So
Was
in the
that
year
Mr. Singh?
1990,
So Mr. Singh, was that a hard decision? Was that a difficult decision
not at all,
to get out
not
of
at all.
banking and into
I
tourism?
was prepared.
Yeah.
I was prepared, although it was a secure job. I thought that now is the time to to take a voluntary retirement, a, a pensionable retirement, and go ahead in tourism.
Yes.
So this is, we created special interest tours. We were pioneers in organizing horse safaris, which
Okay.
nobody used to do.
Who is
Most
we? Who was
for
who
okay.
who was we at the time?
My father, I joined hands with him. He was a great horse rider. In fact, it is he who taught me horse riding.
Yes.
And then it began as a high paying, high value business.
Yeah.
In terms of the former, royal families of Germany, France, Spain, they were great horse riders.
Yes.
And because of this connection, we were able to Rajasthan on 15 to 20 days of stay here. And on those particular years of 70s, hunting was allowed with a permission. So these animals like deer and fox, etc., were hunted, and then we would organize barbecue after 20 kilometers of horse riding.
So you would go out on the horses, go hunting, get an animal, and then you would barbecue it on the tour or on the trail.
Yes, yes, I would lead the horse safaris, and if we had two groups taking different routes,
Yeah.
then my father would do the honor of organizing these and lead there. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting in the
Yeah.
sense that what we do, we have this average 20 kilometers ride
Yeah.
a day, in which we alternate stay within castles and in tented accommodation. There's a
Mm-hmm.
jeep that follows with beer, drinks, and barbecue material, and people there to groom and clean up things. So they go in advance, a jeep goes in advance, and then we follow them. Then we camp at a particular site, maybe mostly near a lake,
Mm-hmm.
and then that is the place where we pitch our tents.
How
Hello?
long did you work with your dad? That must have.
Hello.
Hi. It how long did you work with your father?
My dad died in year 2014 at the age of 8.
Sorry.
Even
Sorry.
at even at that age, he used to ride
He was still
horses.
riding? Yes. Did you guys stay in business together that until
So he expired in year 2014.
okay.
He
Okay.
expired in 2014. He
But
was a great rider, not only a great rider, he had a great understanding. And we used to import horses from New Market area near, London. New Market area for horse breeders. There's the
yes.
place from where we used to get horses for breeding and then use them either for the races,
Yes.
and in the Marwadi horses. The Marwadi horses, they are they are very good to ride. They are very beautiful animals. They have a well chiseled face and very strong legs. You can trot, you can ride them, and they are very mild and easy to handle. Because for the customer, we have customers who are from countries that make great horse riders.
Yes.
I'm talking to you about Argentina. They make great horse riders.
Okay.
Argentinians, the Italians, the Spaniards.
Are you breeding horses as well, or do you
Yes, we
guys
do.
do you?
Yes, yes, we do breed horses. In fact, among our family, we have about 80 horses. Not all of them are
Riding, yeah.
for breeding purposes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They are being used for ponies and for polo, for playing polo. We have private and government polo grounds in near Jaipur,
Okay. So I know also
where the where our clients.
you're also working with your wife. How long have you and your wife been working together in the tourism industry?
We got married in 1977.
That's the year I was born. So
We got
43 years ago, yes?
Yes, my wife is good at cooking.
Yeah.
So whenever we have of my customers on my 15-day tours, are you hearing?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, the internet is very on and off, but I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
My wife is a great cook,
Yes.
especially of non-vegetarian variety. She makes very good, kebabs and biryanis. And most of my tours are 15-day tours in which they stay for 3 nights in my own hotel in Jaipur. So
Yes.
this is where she gives a demonstration to our friends how to make these 2 or 3 dishes. When they come, they spend 2-3 hours in the evenings. We sit together, then we tell them the names of the spices, how the spices are to be used, how much they are to be used, and it's great fun. And around this time, on the rooftop of our hotel,
Yes.
we organize a dance program where they all join and dance with the dancers, the folk music. I think I'll send you a photograph of the kind of dances that, especially the picture dance, in which 8 to 9 pictures are kept on one by one on the head, and
Yes.
everybody joins in. They also we My wife also makes the ladies of the group how to tie a sari. Sari? A
Is
sari.
that the thing the ladies wear? Like the clothing
Yes,
that goes
yes,
around over the
yes.
top? Yeah.
That's right. And then they are, gifted away.
Okay. Gifted away.
They learn and then we gift them the saris.
How many people how many staff do you have in your hotel and in your tourism industry do
In,
you have
in the
working for
hotel
you?
proper, it's a boutique heritage hotel with 27 rooms. We have 18 staff, total staff of 18 in the hotel. And in my two company, I have a core team of 8 people. And we don't keep our own cars or jeeps or other things. We outsource everything,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we have a panel of very good experienced escorts and guides speaking all kinds of languages:
Yes.
Chinese, Italian, South Japanese, Spanish, Italian. So we hire them,
Yes.
and they are paid on a daily basis
Yeah.
or hourly basis, depending upon they are escorting them from one city to another, or they are using the services locally.
So Mr. Singh, when it's busy or when 2020 was not a good year for most people, but
No,
when you are up and going and everything is going smoothly, what do you do in a week? What are you usually doing nowadays if it's a busy season? What do you do on a daily basis usually?
what I'm doing now or what I used to do.
Well, when business is going well,
Hello.
hello, what do you normally do when it's a
Yes,
regular season, a regular tourist season?
yes. Our regular season starts from August and ends by March end.
Yes.
But now there's hardly any concept of a season,
Yeah.
because the other months, we have clientele from southern European countries,
Mm-hmm.
where we give them high discounts, the off-season discounts, and that way we are getting a lot of customers from these countries of Croatia, Herzegovina, and
Mm-hmm.
Albania. These are the countries I'm concentrating on
Yes.
because that is the of, of, of business. I devote most of my time in business on on marketing on marketing. I have about 8,000 customers who have already done my tours. So who I engaged with,
Yeah.
and they are happy to respond to me and send their people. Besides that, I am inbound tour operator, supplier to some of the best companies in the world:
Yeah.
Expedia, Touradar, Peak.
Mm-hmm.
You have then there are special tours that are devoted mostly to wellness. These last 2 years, I've been heavily concentrating on wellness because I myself have been doing meditation and yoga for almost 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So Indian system of medicine, of healing, of of health, healthy lifestyle. These are the things that now people, we have yoga across the world now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are organizing 2 months training program for those wanting to take a certificate course and in yoga and
Yeah. Yeah.
meditation.
Yes.
We have a, a university here that gives certificate programs in yoga, meditation, and Ayurveda, which is the really one thing that is taking a lot of shape.
So you are a busy man when things are going well, into marketing and promotions and being on inbound calls and all of that. What is it, Mr.
That's right.
Singh, that you find difficult about your job at times? What is something difficult about being a tour operator or a hotel owner? What is tough about your job or the work you do?
By and large, I don't find any bottlenecks.
Mm-hmm.
Bottlenecks only arrive when the roads get bad after rains.
Yeah.
This is where the customers, um, I can't help it because there are certain areas where people have to go, but then the heavy rains, the traffic snarls, traffic jams are one of the areas that I can't do anything about, but
Mm-hmm.
which is something which customers, we would wish customers to quickly reach from one city to another. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe another thing that I'm not happy about is the persistent way in which many guides and escorts wish to take customers to shops when they are not interested in. We have a policy in our company
Mm-hmm.
that no guide or escort or driver will lead them to any shops unless they specifically ask for it. And that too, we guide them that these are the establishment where you can purchase, and you should bargain, bargain, bargain. In India, bargaining is a must. So we brief them even before they come how they should take care of their requirements in making purchases. Another thing of importance that we tell them is about tipping. Tipping. Tipping is not compulsory, but it is expected. So they
Mm-hmm.
often ask her what is the ideal amount that should be given to the stakeholders or to the
Mm-hmm.
service
Yeah. Provider. Yeah.
providers once the tour has finished. So we tell them this much is the normal that you can pay for the to the guide or at the hotels. Sometimes they they give us the money that you please disburse as you feel good, as per the kind of services that they provided. So these are the 2 or 3 areas where we ensure that the customers are not, you know,
Yeah.
they feel good about how we tell them what they should do, what they should not do.
You
There
make a
was
go ahead.
there was a particular case, very interesting case, I must tell you. We had a group of 12 Australians. So one of the couples, they left the group and they went for a shopping in Jaipur. And mind you, they were to reach before, Christmas, New Year Eve, back to Sydney. So they purchased something without our knowledge. We did not even know where they had purchased items. They had purchased some silver products, which they had paid for and which was supposed to go to Sydney by courier. When the goods reached them, they were horrified to see that they had turned black. They had
Hmm.
turned black. I mean, they were not in good shape at all, and they had spent a lot of money, and they could not give those gifts to their friends. So then they wrote to me, "KB, can you help us with this? Although we are aware that you did not know this
Mm.
particular craftsman or craft shop, but I said there's no problem. I'll help you out, or I'll report the matter to the police." So I approached they gave me the address. I told the person that they were my clients, they're my customers, and it leaves a very bad impression if you don't um, refund the money to them. So they they said, all right, please request them to send back the products at our cost. So they sent back the cost they sent back the goods from Sydney, and I ensured that they got their full money. So they are very happy. In fact, they sent 50 customers to be from Australia just on this particular event.
I, I think that is speaking highly of your character, and as you
No,
said
thank you so much.
about, you said you're welcome, just the idea of you're telling your tour operators not to take people to certain, not to take them shopping unless the tour or the people in the tour ask for it. My dear wife went with her mother to another country in Southeast Asia last year or the year before, and the whole experience was made worse for her when the tour guide kept bringing them to certain shopping places that she believes that there was a connection with the
Yeah.
with the sellers that would give the tour operator some kickback, some extra money, and they felt that way the whole time, and they felt, and then the whole group was being taken to these places that wasn't on the agenda. Then there was extra money that needed to be spent and all that. So I really appreciate, like, I've never experienced something like that. And because I haven't been to many places, but for you as an
No,
owner to say that is really good of you to do that.
no, I'll be very honest with you. This is rampant. This is rampant not only in India,
Yeah.
but in countries like Nepal, Thailand, etc. And the amount of charges a product costing, which should cost them 300, maybe $10, they sell it for $40,
Mm-hmm,
because the
mm-hmm.
commission goes not only to the Indian tour operator, mind you, but even the overseas tour operators, because they know that
Yeah.
even the overseas tour operators are expecting something from their Indian tour operators, and everything, it has to go to the guide, it has to go to the driver. It's all, mind you, 40% of the margin goes towards meeting the demands of these people.
That's a
Another
big
thing that
margin.
I must
Yeah. That's a
do,
that
we,
that Go ahead.
we ask our customers in advance if they are allergic to any food.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody writes to us, there was a case of a of a group of a family from again Australia,
Mm-hmm.
in which he said that my daughter is highly allergic to peanuts.
Yes.
To peanuts. So please ensure an entire route that she does not get to eat anything to do with peanut
Mm-hmm.
oil or peanut,
Mm-hmm.
cooked peanuts, because then she'll fall immediately ill. She will fall immediately ill. So this is one aspect. Then there are many people who don't take anything to do with milk, vegans. So we have such tools also.
Mm-hmm.
Vegan, somebody, they are vegetarians. Then another thing is that the quantity of spices that are to be used, spices.
Yeah.
So we ask them beforehand, before they land in India, how much is the quantity of spices they would like to have in their meals.
Yeah.
Some say they are very happy with any kind of spices, because they say that we have eaten tandoori chicken in Indian restaurants and in England, France, or wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we have no such problem. But I say be very careful about eating outside, because you are likely to have an upset stomach. So be ready for that. That is one of the things that we tell them to take care of. You know.
Well, Mr. Singh, I know it's showing the, like I said, the character, but the care that you have for the people who are on vacation. They're spending their money, they're coming to see your culture, they're coming to see your country, and you're being a good representative of all of that, and you're trying to do your best by caring for them. And I know that, but you and I have been talking the last couple of, a week or so, trying to get in contact, but you seem very kind, right? And you seem very
No, no,
caring. and
nothing.
and
In fact, you are very kind. Another thing very interesting, I must tell you, that in Jaipur we have tailors who can make a complete suit in 24 hours. So
Mhm.
many customers uh, ask me, "Maybe we heard that we can get a Jodhpuri, those clothes, the breeches, coats, etc., made at a very good price for them." And I
Mhm.
said, no problem. Just go to this particular shop, get give them your
Measurements.
measurements,
Yeah.
and your products will be, your finished suit will be in the hotel in 24 hours. They're so happy, and it is so inexpensive to get it done here. So they are very happy. They go back and send me their photograph in a party adorning their suit.
So you provide a good service is what you do,
No,
Mr.
no, I don't provide anything of the services,
Yeah,
but
but you
but
direct them, right? You direct the
they may,
people where to go.
have heard. I said, yes, in Jaipur, you can get a good tailored suit at a very good price for you in 24 hours. So
Yeah.
they get it made, and then they are happy to take them back home.
Mr. Singh, you were doing this for maybe over 30 years. Even since you were 16, you had something to do with tours. What is the satisfaction you get about the work you do in the hotel and the adventure tours? What brings you joy in what you do?
Yes, it is plainly the genuine smile on the face of for having had a very good tour. What we do at the end of the tour, we organize. This I must tell you, we organize a gala dinner complimentary, where my wife, my children, my great grandchildren, we all join on the rooftop.
Mhm.
My grandchildren, I have three grandchildren, two two children, and
You're
my wife and
you're
me.
too young for grandchildren or great grandchildren. You're too
No,
young for
no,
that.
I'm sorry, not grandchildren. So three grandchildren,
Yeah,
two children, wife, and we all get together
yeah.
uh, for a gala dinner with unlimited drinks, barbecue, and after that we 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 assemble in the hall of my hotel, where I give them, I tell them about my family. We
Yeah.
have big portraits of, I'll send you photo of my hotel's dining room and drawing rooms, where we have large portraits of my great grandfather, my grandfather, my father in royal dresses,
Yeah.
royal, regalia, what we say regalia. They're very happy. They are very happy to get themselves, photographed,
Yeah.
photographed in the backdrop of these portraits. Another, how I begin. This should be interest to you also, and they have a good laugh. I tell them that I have so far only two children.
Because
So far, I have
so
only two
far,
children.
so far, you mean you want some more?
This is this makes them very happy.
D-
This is how
d-
we start the conversation.
does
They
your
are
wife?
my wife and children. Now I have only two children so far.
Yeah. So far, does your
This
what
is
is? I
this is
I
how we begin on a very happy note.
I say that to my wife too, but she's like, no more. Yeah, no, she doesn't want any more.
Yeah, you can have many more. You are so young.
Mr. Singh, what is a skill that you need in your position? So in being an owner, being a tour guide and helping people out, what is an essential skill that you need that someone else may look at developing if they want to be in a position like you?
I would say number one is punctuality. Punctuality is very essential.
Hmm.
Two, I find very important is when they land in Delhi, which is mostly the starting point, New Delhi International Airport.
Hmm.
This is where they are likely to get lost or they are not able to find
Yeah.
the representative. So we tell them very much in advance from which gate they have to enter, come out, and we have our drivers and the escorts are given, carry with them a placard,
Hmm.
a placard with their names appearing on them. So, because it is so important that when they land, they feel, comfortable that there is somebody who has come and received them and taken them directly to the hotel for stay. Whatever be the time of their arrival or
Yeah.
departure, we ensure that they are received and seen off
Yeah.
punctually. And even when they go on tours every day and on excursions, we ensure that everything is operating smoothly and the drivers and the guides are courteous at all times. I have so many of them who wrote back to say that in entire tour that we have done across the world, the kind of courtesy and good naturedness, ever smiling drivers that you have,
Hmm.
whether it's the coaches or the guides or the escorts, they have consistently been courteous and knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I tell them they give correct information about the monuments. Don't
Yeah.
don't give them information which is either irrelevant
Hmm.
or you are giving much more with embellishments.
Yeah.
Give the picture, a true picture of the monument, who built it, how it was built, or just about anything.
Yeah.
But don't give bombard them with so much information. Be precise, be concise, but answer them truthfully about anything, any event, any, whether it is our folk dances, or whether it is anything that they are seeing, the monuments or everything. They must know, and we also give them some some literature to read before they, even before they start from home. We give them some material to
Hmm.
read and have a better understanding, then they also asked me many times before what kind of dress they should wear. They should wear. I tell
Mm-hmm.
them that there is absolutely no restrictions in dresses. You are most welcome to wear whatever you like, but it's expected that when you go to a place like a temple or and such place, it's better to not to wear a knicker or something. Just be properly dressed, which will look nice to you also, and to the priest and all those at the temples
So for you, punctuality is very important. It's something to learn
What's
and
that?
to. You mentioned punctuality is a good skill to
Yes,
develop. Mr. Singh,
yes.
I worked in the hotel industry in Canada out of
Okay.
university, and I have a little taste that it's not always easy, right? So you can be nice and kind, but sometimes the guests are not. So after doing 30 years of this, how are you able to stay productive? How are you able to stay motivated to keep on doing it? What's driving you?
I explore areas that are not they are comparatively virgin areas
Yeah.
which have not been traveled, uh, have been overexploited
So
overexploited
variety, yeah.
areas which have been overexploited, and overexploitation leads to many ills.
Mm-hmm.
uh, People leave behind this plastic litter. They acquire many other elements which are not conducive. So we are constantly in search of areas across India. Mind you, India is very huge in terms of the diversity in wildlife, and
Mm-hmm.
we have and other areas. So this is one area that excites me. I try to go there myself,
Yeah.
spend a few hours, get a feel of the place, and try to find out what kind of accommodation will best suit for wellness tours.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. Now with the COVID-19, people are looking for places where they can spend maybe weeks
Mm.
exploring, uh, taking long walks in the woods, doing meditation, yoga, detox food, and all this kind of areas that I'm working on. I've already done finished about 30 such tours and given to one of the best upcoming wellness company in Canada, is Wakayu.
Yes.
Wakayu is the name of this company, and they are soon going to upload my 18 tours of India.
Mr. Singh, what is a tool that you use, something that you use maybe every day in your work that helps you work efficiently? So it could be something like a pen, a paper, it could be your phone, it could be a horse, it could be your schedule. What do you use in your work that helps you work efficiently?
I do meditation yoga that gives me a lot of energy,
Focus. Yeah.
and I help my wife in the kitchen.
That's helpful too, eh?
This
That
is a
that
good
that
pastime.
that's helpful for marriage, right? It's
Then I like to play with my grandchildren.
yeah.
I have a 7-year-old here. Come here. This is my wife. Yes, hello. This is a 7 year
Hello.
old.
Hello. You're doing
Hello.
well. You're doing well. You're taking care of him very well.
And here's a grandchild.
Hello.
Say
Hello.
hello.
Hi.
We had a wonderful time yesterday, Christmas.
Mr.
We celebrated
Yeah,
at home.
Merry Christmas too. Mr. Singh, thinking of your grandchild or young people getting into work, what sort of tip, what sort of tip do you have for young people or people changing, like you changed your career from banking into tourism, and that's a hard thing to start work or to change a career. Do you have any advice for people like your grandchild there starting work or people changing their career?
It was as personally, it was easy for me to enter tourism because we were already into that,
Mm-hmm.
already into that. So I used to guide. I used to earn some money for myself by guiding for my father's company,
Yes.
and we used to get very good tips. So that was fine. So I tourism is my second love
Do you
after
have
my wife.
advice? Yeah, but do you have do you have advice for people getting into work or starting work? What would you say to a young child thinking about working or changing a job? What would you say to them?
I think I always, those who wish to enter that tourism sector,
Yeah.
either as fresh people or wanting to join, I said is a very good line. It's a very good line. It's a line especially for tours. You, it doesn't require much investment.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't require much investment, especially, I'm not saying to build up a hotel, but if to enter an inbound tourism or outbound tourism, uh, it doesn't require much investment, but then you have to build up the contacts through your social media platforms and try to know as much as possible about the sites, what are the attractions, and how, whether you are wanting to do inbounds or you want to do outbounds or any niche area that you want to concentrate on. This is what I tell them. But I tell
Yeah.
them that it's a very exciting line, and but you'll have to work hard to establish contacts
Yeah.
overseas.
Yeah.
And now we are with this COVID. Now there's an increased emphasis on domestic tourism,
Yeah.
especially we have large number of people going in for religious tourism. Yeah, religious tourism. We have these temples, ancient temples
Yeah.
from the north of Himalayas to South India, from west to East India. So you can spend almost a lifetime just going around visiting the temples.
Yeah.
That is one area where young people can take, some people, all Hindus especially want to do some sort of a religious tour in their lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are millions and millions of Indians fishing, and they do. We keep on going to ourselves.
Mr. Singh, is there, thinking back over the decades, is there a mistake maybe that you made that you're able to learn from so you could be a better worker? So something that you might have done, you don't have to say the mistake, but is there something that you did or didn't do that you learned from that helped you in your work?
One does make mistakes. One does make mistakes.
Yeah.
One does make mistake, and one has to be a little careful about that.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes you miss out on opportunities that come your way. Yes, that's true. Sometimes you there's one case of a there's one case of a travel travel journalist. He had come with his wife. They were to go back by through Scoot Airlines. Scoot Airlines used to operate from Australia
Okay.
to Jaipur, connecting flight. So these people had come here at a time when there was a wedding in the family, where we took them. In Indian weddings, everybody is welcome. So
Mm-hmm.
we took them for a wedding. Now, his flight was to operate at 1 o'clock at night. And we got drunk, and we forgot that the flight was to go at 1 o'clock at night. And I didn't keep track of the timing, and the flight was missed. And I said, then what to do? Then I did my very best and got them the next flight
Yeah.
back to
Yeah. Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
Many travel writers have been sponsored
Mm.
by Scoot Airlines. There used to be a magazine, a newsletter published from Gold Coast, and they sent many people on complimentary basis. They,
Yeah.
they sponsored their tours
Yeah.
for where they could spend a week to 7 days in Rajasthan with me. And of course, we would our part was complimentary, but then they arranged for their tickets, their the plane tickets.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
complimentary, but they did for me. And then they went back and wrote articles on their experiences with KV Singh.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's a hard mistake to, especially with travel journalists. Mr. Singh, you've mentioned this a couple of times, but and it shows your own character. But how important is it to be a man of integrity and have good character in your line of business or in work in general? So how important is character and integrity to you?
it, it is very important. It's very important, especially how to behave with ladies, with women. We keep instructing them
Yep.
not to be, not to guard drivers and guard to be very careful how they treat our
Hmm.
lady customers. There's one area that we're very particular about.
Do you have a view of my listeners of how you view education? So whether it's university or hands-on experience, how do you view the importance of learning, lifelong learning and education?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm from military school. I spent 7 years in a military school. Although I did not go in the military, but
Mm-hmm.
that experience has been very good to me
Yeah.
to be quite disciplined in my day-to-day activities. Having spent
Yes.
7 years, we used to get up at 4 a.m., do horse riding and all kinds of sporting activities and studies also. I did my Master of Arts in political science, with subjects of international law, uh, you know, anthropology, and history. So these subjects, these areas came very handy in the field of tourism, especially anthropology.
Yes. What do you say to, say, your grandchildren about education? Is it something that they should really consider? Is it important? What do you
Yes,
feel?
yes. I emphasize. Uh, I had emphasized with my children, and now I emphasize with my grandchildren also the need for a good education and character building, and most importantly, family bonding.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Family bonding is one area that uh, I think most Indians are particular about. And I tell them, you follow the educational field of your own choice. Don't be guided by what your peers or tell
Mm,
you. Nowadays, here everybody is crazy about going into science, becoming doctors, doctors, and following, you know, the technology. My daughter is keen on literature.
mm-hmm.
So I said, if you love this area, then you should go for literature, English literature. She's keen on French and other areas. I think this is the area. This is my son's daughter, whose photo you saw. She's keen on pursuing a, a career in sports. She's keen
Okay.
to go in for badminton.
Okay.
So we are encouraging. Now is the time for her to build up a
So you
in this particular area of interest to her, and we have some of the best players in this sporting activities
yeah.
in the world, especially
So
women players.
you encourage education, and in your case, in your family's case, you give them the freedom to make the
Yes.
choices they want, which is very good.
My wife has also been is also a votary of education. She
Yeah.
has herself studied in a Loreto convent. Loreto convent. She has had education in a Christian establishment convent, and
Okay.
she is very happy about the kind of education and the kind of discipline that was imbued in them when she was in doing her graduation in a
Okay. Mr.
convent.
Mr. Singh, do you have a goal for your company, whether it's IHCT Heritage and Venture Tours or your hotel group at Khandela, the wellness resort? Do you have an overarching goal?
I don't want to expand too much. I don't want to expand too much. I
Yeah.
will just have quality business,
Yeah.
less of, of clientele,
Yeah.
but different different areas in tourism,
Yeah.
paragliding, surfing, this the wildlife, photography, adventure in the Himalayas. These are the areas that I would want to concentrate, but have a very limited kind of
Yeah.
business. I am
Yeah.
concentrating now on my orchards, especially citrus plantations.
Okay.
I have farms about 80 kilometers from Jaipur, where I am planning to grow in a very big way, citrus plants, citrus. So that's the one area that interests me.
So has it has your position changed a lot over the decades? Maybe years ago it was more of seeing certain things, but you're talking paragliding and seeing citrus and doing other sorts of ventures. Have things changed a lot, especially with technology too?
Yes,
Has things
yes.
changed a lot for you?
There's a lot of change in how you cultivate now. We have tissue plantations, then we have these greenhouses. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the technique, and then increasingly, would want to concentrate on organic way of cultivation. Organic.
Yeah.
There's a great movement towards organic
Yeah.
cultivation of beans, of all kinds of wheat, cereals, your
Mm.
beans, your vegetable, even milk,
Yeah.
production using uh, organic route.
Yeah. Yeah. We drink a lot of
So
almond milk.
it's a great pastime to
Yeah.
spend among cows and buffaloes and horses and
Yeah.
see the plants grow up. It's very nice. It's a very nice feeling.
Mr. Singh, is there anything that you think people may not understand about you or your hotel or the tours that you do that you would like them to understand so they can have a better appreciation of you and what you're providing in India? Is there something you would like people to understand a little bit better?
See, those coming at least they have a 45 to 50 days of this of the leg time to come here. So in these particular 45 days to 50 days before they land in Delhi to begin their tours of Bombay, we give them sufficient information about what to expect
Yeah.
from us. Well in time, we inform, we
Yeah.
will tell them, we exchange uh, ideas and what are the expectations, if they, anything special that they want us to do for them.
Mm-hmm.
Some mention that which is not in the itinerary, some mention what they want to do. In fact, some people uh, they want to cosmetic treatment of teeth, which is quite inexpensive compared to countries like Australia and US.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmetic treatment of their teeth.
Yes.
So they ask us where they can get it done. We fix up appointment for them there in
Yeah,
time.
their dentistry. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes. So these are the small areas where
You're very accommodating, is what it sounds like. You're very
yes, yes,
accommodating.
yes. We try it. Yes, we certainly do. I would say that I'll send you uh, one review
Yeah.
sent by a lady, a, a Filipino settled in Sydney. It will take you 25 minutes to read the review.
Oh, really?
I do not think anybody on any tour anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world has written a note which runs into 25 minutes to read.
It's a long review.
Then we had a group, one of the members, he wrote a book, a 75-page book on my tour, starting from Adelaide, where they began their journey, and ending at Adelaide in 15 days in India. So it was a pictorial book on the tour they took of my tour, 15-day tour, and then he got about 300 of those books, published and sent me by courier from Adelaide. So I was very happy to see those photographs and that entire book on my tour
Yeah,
that he wrote.
I can see that with your character and how accommodating you are and caring you are. There's no doubt that you provide very good tours. Mr. Singh, on a more, I have only a few questions for you, just so you know that. But on a serious note, is there any adversity, any trouble that you have faced in your life, adversity that has helped you in your work? It kind of has given you a little extra motivation, or it's even still hard to deal with by having adversity in your life, some trouble.
So far, things have been by and large good.
That's
So
good. That's
I
good.
don't think any adversity has taken place, which that changed for.
And I asked that question of thinking of other people, so listeners of my program.
Yes.
A lot of people do face adversity, right? Even maybe you would even consider 2020 a little adversity for you in the tourism industry, because it's obviously all around the world has taken a hit in tourism, and that sort of thing. But other people lose people, they've lost their jobs, they've come down sick, just through
It is
life, right?
very bad.
Right?
It is very bad here, especially as told you as regards the the big forts and palaces, etc. is okay in the large cities where you have these ordinary hotels which are not mm, palatial, or they are not able to survive, and most of these workers have come from places like Nepal,
Mm,
from other corners of the country, which have less income for them.
yeah.
So it is really bad for them. They have to go
Mm.
back to their small farms, and I'm sure they must be having a very bad time.
Do you
Although
have
here,
do you have advice for people that are in positions like that all around the world, especially in their work where it's tough or they're dealing with adversity in their life? Do you have any advice for people who are facing hard times, but we want to encourage them in their work?
yes, I think the best thing would be for anybody, personally speaking, for me or anybody, that this is the time where we have to establish our relationship. We have to renew our affection or with our own people, for the family, friends. We have to be close, close to each other to be able to survive.
I think that's great advice of getting back in touch with, as you mentioned earlier, with your roots, right? The roots of either your initial family or your culture, and getting back in touch with that, and reassessing your whole situation, and that will be encouraging. Mr. Singh, how can people get in touch with you? So this is where you would promote yourself and tell people all the places that they can find you if they want to go on your IHCT Heritage and Adventure Tours, or if they want to come to your hotel, your Khandela Wellness Resort. How do people find you and get in contact with you?
My normal contacts are through LinkedIn, where I'm very active. In fact, most of my business operated from LinkedIn,
And
not so much from Facebook,
that's
but
KV
LinkedIn
Singh. They'll
is the
find you
best.
under the name KV Singh. That's the letters KV Singh, SINGH. Correct?
What's that?
The- On
No.
LinkedIn, they can find you on LinkedIn under the name
Yes.
capital K, capital V, and Singh,
No,
SINGH.
it is KB Singh, owner in India Heritage and Culture Tours or something.
Yes.
I'm active on Facebook also, but not much.
Yeah. Very good. I have one final question for you, sir.
Please go ahead.
Why do you work?
Or it gives me a kick. I enjoy. I enjoy working. I enjoy working
At,
and meet people
it's
and
it's a
connect with them and connect with them.
It's a great answer. KV Singh of IHCT Heritage and Adventure Tours and of Hotel Group Khandela Wellness Resort. Thank you, kind sir, for your time, and I appreciate the work that you do.
So nice of you. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry for the inconvenience caused to you last time.
There's no inconvenience at all. It's been a pleasure, and I would like to have this conversation if the internet wasn't so choppy, just so everyone could have a really good idea of how caring you are and how much you are accommodating to your guests, and that you really, really, truly love what you do,
Thank you
and
so much.
you
When
provide
will
it.
I be able to see this podcast?
Uh, we As soon as I get it up within the next 24 hours. I thank you, sir.